Imagine standing on a wooden bridge at dawn. The air is thick with sea salt and wood smoke. Ahead, 1,000,000 people move through a labyrinth of tiled roofs. There are no carriages, there are no horses. There is only the rhythmic, echoing clack of wooden sandals on stone. You are in the largest, most heavily guarded city on Earth. The year is 1720. You have just arrived in Edo. Today, we know this place as Tokyo. But 2 centuries ago, it was an entirely different, isolated universe. Edo was the beating heart of the Tokugawa shogunate, a military dictatorship that plunged Japan into over 100 years of strict, unbroken, and heavily enforced peace. Before the 1600s, Edo was little more than a muddy fishing village on the edge of a swamp. But the shoguns didn't just build a castle here. They built a machine, a meticulously engineered society, designed to control a nation of millions, without firing a single shot. It was a masterpiece of psychological control. Deprived of foreign influence, the Japanese turned their gaze inward. They focused on the beauty of their own daily lives, birthing a culture of staggering sophistication. By the 1700s, Edo had exploded. It surpassed London, it dwarfed Paris. It was a city of over 1,000,000 souls, entirely isolated from the outside world. To walk the streets of 18th century Edo was to walk through a living paradox. It was a city of ruthless military order and wild, hedonistic freedom. A spiritual quiet and deafening, chaotic noise. Step closer, let the mist clear. Let us walk through the gates of the samurai capital. To understand Edo, you must first understand its silence. Look to the center of the city. Rising above the sprawling wooden rooftops is the massive Edo Castle. It is not just a fortress, it is a masterpiece of psychological intimidation. The stone walls are massive, fitted together without a single drop of mortar. Beyond the walls lies a labyrinth of moats, guardhouses, and towering keeps. This is the Yamanote, the high city. The air here is crisp and eerily quiet. The streets are wide and swept clean. This is the domain of the samurai. If you stand at the main gates, you might witness a daimyo arriving. This is the Sankin Kotai system, the shogunate's brilliant mechanism of control. The lords are forced to spend every other year in Edo as virtual hostages. Watch the procession. Hundreds of retainers march in perfect, terrifying synchronization. At the front walk the samurai, their silk kimonos rustling in the crisp morning wind. At their hips, they carry the daisho, the long and short swords. By law, no one else in the city is allowed to carry 2 swords. It is a constant, visual reminder of who holds the power of life and death. When a samurai walks by, merchants press themselves against the wooden walls. They bow their heads in silence. In the Yamanote, there is no haggling. There is no shouting. There is only the heavy weight of absolute authority. But just a few miles away, across the river, the rules change entirely. Cross the Nihonbashi Bridge, and the heavy silence shatters into 1,000,000 pieces. Welcome to the Shitamachi, the Low City. This is the downtown. This is the merchant's paradise. The sensory overload is immediate and completely intoxicating. The smell of pine is replaced by the pungent aroma of the sea. Nihonbashi is the economic epicenter of Japan, buzzing with relentless, chaotic energy. Boats from all over the archipelago glide up the canals, unloading rice, cotton, silk, and sake. The streets are narrow, packed shoulder to shoulder with humanity. Merchants shout their prices. Apprentices rush through the crowds carrying towering stacks of goods. The air is filled with the thick smoke of street food stalls. And here, in the 1700s, you are witnessing the birth of fast food. The city is so dense that the men simply have no time to cook. Watch a vendor expertly press vinegared rice and top it with fresh, raw fish. He is inventing what we now know as sushi. A few stalls down, another man is dropping battered seafood into boiling oil, creating crispy tempura. The sizzling sound is the soundtrack of the Edo afternoon. This is the domain of the chonin, the merchant class, who hold all the real wealth. By law, they are at the bottom of the social hierarchy. But in reality, the samurai are paid in rice, while the merchants convert it into cash. There is a deep, unspoken tension here. The samurai wear fine silk but are slowly going bankrupt, trapped by their rigid, unchanging stipends. The merchants wear rough cotton by law, but they line the inside of their coats with the most expensive, vibrant silk money can possibly buy. It is a quiet rebellion, a hidden luxury. As the sun begins to set, the merchants do not go home to rest. They head toward the lanterns. They are heading to the floating world. Beyond the strict grid of the city lies Yoshiwara, the licensed pleasure district, a realm of pure escapism. To enter Yoshiwara, you must pass through the Great Gate. And here, there is a strict rule. You must leave your swords at the door. Inside the high wooden walls, the rigid social hierarchy dissolves. Rich and poor all become equal customers in this neon-lit paradise. The streets are lined with two-story tea houses, glowing with the warm, golden light of hundreds of paper lanterns. The air smells of incense and plum wine. This is the birthplace of the ukiyo, the floating world. It is a philosophy that says life is fleeting, so you must live entirely in the moment. Watch the courtesans. The highest ranking of them do not merely walk, they glide. Their kimonos are heavy, layered masterpieces of intricate embroidery.
They are not just beautiful, they are highly educated poets and musicians. To win a night with a Taiyu takes months of courtship and a fortune.
But the floating world is not just about pleasure. It is about art. The vibrant culture spills out, inspiring the artists who capture its fleeting beauty.
Watch a woodblock carver carefully chiseling a block of cherry wood. He is capturing the face of a famous actor or a beautiful courtesan for eternity. These prints, called ukiyo-e, are cheap enough for a common merchant to buy. They spread the image of the floating world to millions across the city. It is a beautiful, intoxicating illusion. But outside the walls of Yoshiwara, the real world is waiting. And in Edo, the real world is unforgiving. The city is defined by two elements, fire and water. The locals have a saying, Edo is both fire and water, and fire is the ever-present terror. Look at the buildings. They are made of wood, plaster, and paper. In the dry, windy winters, a single knocked-over cooking brazier can doom an entire district. The fires of Edo are legendary. They are called Edo flowers, consuming everything in their path with terrifying, unstoppable speed. When the temple bells ring frantically, the city erupts. The Machibaishi rush into the narrow streets. They are a fiercely loyal brotherhood. They do not use water to fight the blazing infernos. They use hooks and mallets. They tear down burning buildings to create fire breaks amidst the roaring flames. They stand in nothing but loincloths, chanting their work songs. It is chaotic. It is dangerous. It is entirely Edo. But when the fires are out, the city simply rebuilds. Because Edo is also water, the city is laced with canals, and at its eastern edge flows the wide, majestic Sumida River. The river is the lifeblood of the city, and it is also its sanctuary. Imagine it is a humid summer night in July. The heat is oppressive, but suddenly the sky explodes. Massive, brilliant fireworks bloom over the dark waters of the Sumida. This is the Hanabi Festival, a celebration of survival. Tens of thousands of citizens line the riverbanks, looking up in awe. The fireworks were originally created to soothe the spirits of those who died in famine. For one night, the strict rules of the shogunate are forgotten. The samurai, the merchants, and the artisans stand shoulder to shoulder, united in sheer beauty. But as the 1700s draw to a close, the golden light of the Edo period begins to flicker. The Great Peace is finally showing its cracks. The isolationist policy of Sakoku, which kept foreign ships out for over a century, is starting to feel less like a shield and more like a cage. Look closely at the streets in the late 1700s. The vibrant energy is still there, but there is a dark undercurrent of anxiety and desperation. The Tenmei famine has struck. Volcanic eruptions across the globe have cooled the climate, and the rice crops have failed across the entire nation.
In the downtown, the price of rice skyrockets. The merchants are wealthy, but the common people are starving. Riots break out in the narrow alleys.
The mob, driven by desperation, storms the rice warehouses. They tear open the bags, letting the grain spill into the muddy streets in a chaotic frenzy. The authorities are overwhelmed, and in the Yamanote, the samurai are in crisis. Stipends are paid in rice, but the value of rice has plummeted. The proud warriors, the elite enforcers of the shogunate, are quietly pawning their ancestral swords just to buy food. The social order is unraveling. Worse still, out in the dark waters of the Pacific, foreign ships are beginning to appear on the horizon. The pressure cooker of Edo is sealed tight. The heat is rising. The lid is about to blow. But that is a story for another time. For now, let us remember Edo at its absolute peak. Let us remember the misty mornings at the castle gates, the sizzling street food of Nihonbashi, the golden lanterns of Yoshiwara, and the brilliant fireworks. Edo was more than just a city. It was a masterpiece of human engineering and cultural resilience, built from a muddy swamp in total isolation. And yet, despite the fires, the famines, the rigid laws, and the eventual collapse of the shogunate, the spirit of the city survived the test of time. When the shogunate fell, Edo did not die. It simply changed its name. It became Tokyo, the eastern capital, ready to face a new, modern era. The wooden tea houses were replaced by concrete towers. The samurai processions were replaced by bullet trains. The paper lanterns were replaced by blinding neon. But if you walk through the quiet, narrow alleys of modern Tokyo today, if you listen closely, you can still hear the echo of wooden sandals. You can still smell the sea salt and the wood smoke. History never truly disappears. It just waits beneath the surface, ready to be remembered. If you enjoyed this journey through the floating world, please subscribe for more cinematic explorations into the hidden corners of history.